A magical place in a magical country, Inle Lake in Myanmar. For hundreds of years now, the farmers have tended their floating gardens here. Time seems to have stood still. Traveling traders provide people here with anything they can't get from the lake. It's an austere life in a strongly Buddhist country. People trust in their faith and hope that someday they will attain the peak of human happiness, nirvana. The road into a faraway and long isolated world. The people of this village on the lake have lived for hundreds of years according to the rhythms of the lake. It's shortly after 7 a.m. Pu Win is, as always, in a hurry. Her children have to go to school, her husband to work in the fields. Before they go their separate ways for the day, the family eat together. They have rice and a few vegetables, as they do every morning. Pu Win's brother has something to eat too. He's a fisherman and will spend the day on the lake. It is the family in this isolated place that provides everyone with a safety net.
Men and women work together. Some work only the man can do, and some a woman will do. In the tomato gardens, the man will do the planting and pesticide sprinkling, but the woman will do the picking. On the betel leaf plantation, the man would do the preparation like cutting the bamboo sticks, but the woman will harvest.
Tanaka, the crushed tree bark, is used as sun protection and also as a cosmetic. 3-year-old Susu Pui submits patiently to the morning ritual. She's been going to preschool for some weeks now, an exceptional circumstance in a village where there was no school at all until fairly recently. Pui Win and her daughter aren't the only ones to head out for the day. The whole village is up and about. Tomato farmer Kiao Miu is heading for his fields. They are out on the lake. He has a busy day ahead of him. The farmer's rowing technique is unique. Nowhere else in the world is this method used, only here by the people on Lake Inle. They row with one leg wrapped around the oar, which leaves both hands free to work. Kiao Miu is proud of his floating gardens, which have been in his family for generations. He has spent a lot of money on new plants and on enlarging and fertilizing the beds. He's hoping for a good harvest.
When the time comes to grow the tomato plants, we worry. We don't know whether the plants will grow properly. We do not know whether the tomatoes will be good or bad. We are just doing it by guessing. Once the tomatoes start to ripen, then we have to worry about whether it will cover the cost. Only when we get a good price for the tomatoes, then the whole family is happy.
The fields have to be tended from the boat. If the farmer were to attempt to stand on his floating gardens, the entire thing would sink beneath him.
These floating farms are self-made farms. They are not here in the lake. We have to make them in the forest and test them in the water. If it doesn't float, then we have to adjust it with knives. When it floats, then we take it out on the lake with many people. After that, we start planting things like tomatoes and cucumbers.
Water hyacinth forms a base for the floating gardens. It holds up the beds so that they swim on the surface and can be cultivated. But why do the people here go to such lengths? The answer lies in their history. The Inta, or Sons of the Lake as the people here are called, came here several centuries ago after being driven from their land in the southeast of the country. Lake Inle was their refuge. So, with necessity the master of invention, they developed their ingenious method of farming. The floating gardens have not changed to this day. Like generations before them, the farmers fetch the rich silt from the lake floor for their beds. The aquatic gardens are constantly being enlarged to ensure sufficient income for the farmers. They work long, hard hours to prepare the beds for the plants and hope for a good harvest. The floating gardens are more than just fertile acreage on the lake's surface. They have one very important advantage over ordinary fields. When the monsoons come and swamp everything, the floating gardens simply ride it out, and the farmers continue to work on them. Garlic, onions, beans, chilies, cucumbers, it's all planted by hand. The produce is primarily for their own consumption. Any surplus is sold. Pui Win and her daughter, Susu Pui, have reached school. It was built only recently and is the pride of the whole village. The children no longer have to walk several kilometers to school in the next village. Around 60 girls and boys aged from 3 to 5 go to preschool here. The school day begins in this Buddhist country with the morning prayer recital. Then the children sing a song. The teaching is closely linked to the children's everyday lives. The teachers use simple methods to spark their curiosity.
Here we teach the children by encouraging their creativity. We give them intelligent games such as create and play, constructive play, and there is instrumental play. In these 6 rooms, they learn by playing.
It's time for Myo Win, Pui Win's brother to go out on the lake. He's been a fisherman since childhood. He watches the lake's surface intently, looking for bubbles. These tell him where the fish are. Eel, barb, and carp are native to the freshwater lake, which is about 10 kilometers wide and 20 long. It could be hours before Myo Win makes his first catch. But on Lake Inle, no one is in any particular hurry. People know how to be patient here, and the days when his basket would simply fill up effortlessly are long gone.
The reason for catching fewer fish is, how do I say, the fishermen are catching the fish even during the egg-laying season, without rest. So the fish population is getting smaller.
Around Lake Inle, time seems to stand still. Myanmar's change in government has had little or no impact on people's lives here, or at least not yet. The country is slowly adapting since the departure of the generals and opening up to Western influences, but life around the lake continues unchanged. Once a week, Pui Win sets off for market with a neighbor. The walk takes a good hour each way, nothing unusual in Myanmar, where nearly everyone walks. Only a lucky few can afford a moped, still fewer a car. The market traders also walk long distances in order to reach the markets where they sell their goods. Many of them come down from the surrounding mountains. The markets are their only source of income.
Oh yes, it's very convenient. You meet friends and do the shopping for the whole week. As for the price, too, here is cheaper than the small shops in the village, because those shops bought the goods and sell again at higher prices.
The sellers offer everything from herbs, spices, vegetables, and tea to fish and meat. Meat is mostly unaffordable. Only very rarely does either of the two women have enough money for a piece of meat.
It's not enough. There's never enough money. So less shopping. Some of us grow vegetables at home, so we don't have to buy so much. Meat and fish are so expensive, so we cannot afford it.
The market closes down in the early afternoon. It's time to head for home. For the children of the village, education is the only path they have to a better life than that of their parents. But for more than 50 years, the military that governed the country systematically neglected the education system. It's only very recently that Myanmar's teachers have dared to hope.
Education is very important. I have to say, from a very young age when you are developing. Then, as an adult, you can achieve your goals. I think so. I want them to develop in many ways. Then they can go to the big cities, perhaps even to other countries. I want that to happen.
From their very first day at school, the children learn to regularly wash their hands. Hygiene is vital, particularly when your village has no sewage or drainage system and no running water. The shared lunchtime is also an important ritual, and not at all to be taken for granted. In a country which has an alarming rate of childhood malnutrition, according to international statistics lists. The floating gardens are passed down through the generations. Kyo Myo was lucky enough to be able to inherit his family's tomato gardens. His harvest today, however, is meager. The tomatoes don't seem to want to grow this year. He hurries back to the village in the hope that he'll still find a trader to buy his crop off him. Tomorrow it's market day in one of the larger of the lakeside towns. The trade in tomatoes is very unreliable. Kyo Myo can never be sure what price he'll get for his crop or whether his hard work will pay off.
The money we get from the tomato crops is not enough because the tomato price is not good. That is why. So during my free time, I look for other work.
The farmer also does casual work as a day laborer, like most of the men in the village. A day's pay is the equivalent of about €1.50. The women earn even less. They're paid about €1 for a whole day's weeding. Heavy labor is no better paid. People here are happy to have any work at all. These men are delivering dried tanafet leaves. These form the outer wrappings of the cheroot, a small cigar. The boss of the little cigar-making industry checks the quality of the goods. This delivery is first class and is taken into the store. The leaves are sorted before they're taken into manufacture. The women who make the cigars come from the village. And have been working for years in this small, family-run business. They roll between 500 and 1,000 cheroots a day, depending on how skilled they are. The supervisor keeps very close track of production. What makes the aromatic cheroots special is their composition. They're not just made from tobacco. They're sweetened by the addition of fragrant chopped wood, tamarind, or unrefined cane sugar.
For the village, this business is very important. It gives the women a daily job, and they get a daily income. If the cheroots do not sell well, then they also have less income.
Right now, the cheroots are selling well, About 200,000 of the brand Flying Tiger are produced every week.
For us, we are used to it, and it is convenient. With this cheroots business, we have our livelihood, and we can keep our children at the school.